everybody, and you're very welcome back to our latest episode of our podcast, Advocacy Works. My name is Siobhan Flynn, and I'm here today with co-hosts. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Philip Crosby.
You're well. How are you doing, Philip?
Grand.
Yeah. You've done a few of these podcasts with me now, so
I have.
you're not new to us, but we have a new person with us today, don't we?
Yep.
Would you like to introduce yourself to everybody?
Hi, my name is Grace Howley. I'm a first timer.
You're a first timer. Yeah, I'm doing a podcast.
Yeah.
How are you, Grace?
I'm good.
Thanks so much for coming out to do this with us today. Would you like to tell people a little bit about yourself? Where are you from then? We'll start with an easy question.
So, I'm from Portlaw,
which is in County
Waterford.
Yes, very good. And have you always lived in Waterford, Grace?
No, we moved to Portlaw after we lived down in Kilkenny.
Okay. So, and did you go to school in Waterford?
I went to the local Portlaw National School.
Oh, very good. That's very good. And then secondary, did you go to secondary school?
I did, yeah. I went from the mainstream post-primary to St. Joseph's School in Waterford.
Oh, very good. So you were in post-primary and then you went into special national school. Special school then, wasn't it?
My old school.
Your old school as well. Very good, very good. And what kind of things do you like to do, Grace?
I do mix of everything. I do creative writing, acting, dancing.
All the arts.
All the arts. Oh.
Very good. You're a very busy woman.
Yeah.
What kind of things do you have 2 jobs?
I have 2 jobs, yes.
Where do you work?
I work in Tesco Ballybeg over 14 years since they first opened.
Very good. So it's a long time. You're 14 years in Tesco's.
Yeah, I know. I'm really veteran.
Oh, shit. Part of the furniture now, Grace. And then you work somewhere else then as well. Your other job.
My other job is in insurance business, Arcris.
Okay, and what kind of company is that?
So it's an insurance company.
An insurance company, and what do you do in that company?
I'm an insurance office worker.
You're an office worker, so you're doing lots of different office stuff.
Yeah, mostly.
And how long are you there now?
I think it's way more than 6 years.
Oh, so it's a long time. You're a busy woman.
Yeah.
You must be worth a fortune, are you?
42, yeah.
With all your jobs.
On a computer analyzer.
You're busy. So in your spare time you like to do the arts. You like dancing and other things like that. Do you do sports?
I do, yeah. I'm involved with Special Olympics since I was about 10.
About 10. And what sports do you do with Special Olympics?
I do swimming, I do basketball, and I do sport floorball.
Oh, very good. And you were recently at the Ireland Games.
Yeah, I was, yes.
And how did you get on?
Good, we came home with the bronze.
Oh, well, that's very good, because it is a new sport, isn't it? The floorball, it's a brand new sport.
It was a brand new sport. It was really new to the women. We already had 3 men's teams already.
Oh, okay, so this was the first women's team, was it?
Yes,
from Munster.
Yeah.
To go up.
Yeah.
Very good. Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's great. Is there anything else you'd like to tell people, Grace, before we move on to our topic for today?
Not much really, except I am born and proud to have Down syndrome.
Oh, very good. That's lovely. And I'm very proud of it, aren't you, Grace?
Yeah.
Yes, that's great. And you fly the flag very well, don't you?
Yeah.
Good woman. So thanks for that introduction, Grace. Lovely. Philip would have done his introduction there a long time ago. So, so today, what are we going to talk about today?
You're in Commission on Human from Disabilities.
Yeah, the UNCRPD. Yes, which is a lot, isn't it? And as Philip said, it's the United Nations Convention on the Rights of People with Disabilities. Quite long, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we shorten it to the UNCRPD.
Yeah.
Which is still a little bit long, isn't it?
Yeah.
But at least,
it.
yeah, it's easier to do the letters than having to spell it all out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to have a little talk about that today.
Yeah.
And hopefully give people an idea of what it's about. And I think, Grace, you have a little piece there you're going to read out there just about the convention.
Yeah.
Just to get us going.
Okay, so this agreement looks at what countries can do to make sure that disabled people have the same rights as everybody else.
And that's important, isn't it?
It is.
Okay. And Philip, you have a little piece there as well then. What would you like to say on that one?
The convention is an agreement between different countries.
Mm-hmm.
Countries who sign the agreement must make sure disabled people get their rights.
And that's really what it's all about, isn't it? It's all about your rights and the different... and we've previously spoken about rights, Philip, haven't we? We haven't really mentioned the UN Convention because we waited for... We had Grace as our wonderful guest was going to come and talk to us about the convention. So we have spoken about rights previously, but today we'll kind of go into a little bit deeper on the convention, which is a big word, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is there an easier word for a convention? What could an agreement really, isn't it?
Agreement,
Just an agreement between, or as you've said previously, Grace,
guidelines.
Yeah, exactly. So they're just like guidelines for countries to make sure that they treat people with disabilities the same as everybody else in their country. So Ireland signed up to the UNCRPD in 2007.
Yep.
And they ratified it in 2018. So they had said that yes, we agree with this 2007, but it took us a long time as a country to actually sign the paper to say, okay, we are really 100% behind this, and we know how important people with disabilities are, and we are going to make sure that they're going to be treated like everybody else. Okay, so but it did take our country a long time, but we're gladly it happened in 2018. We're still not there at all. We're only, and I suppose since 2018. So what happens with when you sign up to a convention or an agreement or guidelines, as you said yourself, Grace, as a country, then we have to then do a report.
We do.
Okay, around the articles, which are like the agreements and stuff. So it's all these different articles. There's 26 in this convention that our country has said we agree with. And the important things, and we'll talk about them now in a few minutes. But Ireland has then signed up to it, and they have to put their report together.
Yeah.
They send it off to the UN, and an independent group look at it, and they look at what are we doing. Okay, we've signed up to this convention. What is it that we put in place to make sure that people are equal? Okay, so that's where we are at the moment. We have sent off our first report. That was the end of 2021. And then what normally would happen is the UN would come back and say, oh, well, can you explain a bit more about this? Or what are you doing about this? And different things. And then as a country, then we have to go back to them and say, so that's where people would. So over the last couple of years, there was lots of webinars and there was lots of different workshops on giving your feedback on the convention, and it was on different topics like employment, housing, and different things like that. And some of you might have been involved in that, Philip. Can you remember? We did so many webinars, I think, at one stage that it's kind of hard to remember how they. Yeah. But it was, and it's really the idea really would be that when we, as a country, sign up to a convention like this, that the voices of yourselves and people with disabilities are heard. So there has to be an opportunity for you to say, okay, well, I don't think you're actually doing that. And then it has to be part of the report. So as I said earlier, there's 26 different articles in this convention. So we're going to have a little look at some of them. And Grace, I think, is there anyone in particular that stands out to you? That's really, really important to you. What are the most important rights to you, Grace?
Right to be equal.
The right to be equal. That covers everything, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. And do you think you're treated equal in Ireland?
Yeah.
All the time?
Yeah.
Well, that's great to hear. Do you think people were treated equal, say, 50 years ago?
If they used their voice, they would be able to be treated equal.
Yeah, exactly. That's important, isn't it? That people listen, or that people there were sometimes people weren't listened to. So other people might have spoken for them. Mm-hmm. I know yourself and Philip can absolutely talk for yourselves, can't you?
Yep.
If I stop talking. Is that right, Philip?
And I get nothing.
I know. I try my best, don't I? I try my best.
You do.
It's hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we're going to just have a look at the articles, the different agreements and stuff, Grace, and Philip, and the ones that we were being treated equal. That's the Article 5 of this convention, and it really talks about being treated equal. In what sense, Grace? Will we expand a little bit about it? What do you mean by being treated equal?
I think it was to respect people.
To respect people. It's important, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to just open it up here now, and we can have a quick look at what they say in that article around being equal. Okay. That might help you a little bit there.
Okay,
then.
yeah. Countries agree that everyone is equal under the law and that discrimination against disabled people will not be allowed.
Okay. Well, that's really important to you.
Yeah.
That people are not discriminated. You're, as you said earlier, you're very proud to be a person with Down syndrome, and you're very proud of that, and that you feel that you feel you're treated equal. Do you, Grace?
I do, yeah.
Oh, well, that's really good, because I know a long time ago some people would have felt differently, that wasn't the case. So being equal, it kind of covers all aspects of our lives. So that's where education, work, relationships.
Yeah.
Anything else, Philip? Other ones? Can you remember? Because we spoke briefly about this previously, didn't we? On another episode about the important rights, your important rights, and around relationships.
Payment for work.
Payment for work, that's it. And Grace has 2 jobs and gets paid the correct money, I would hope. Yes, I'm sure she does. Yeah, you do, don't you, Grace?
I do, yeah.
So you're treated the very same as all the other staff in Tesco's.
Yeah.
And all the other staff in your other job.
Yeah.
So that's really important, that you're not treated any different to anybody else. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And how does that make you feel?
Good.
Good. Does it make you feel... well, it obviously makes you feel that you're treated the same as everybody else then, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So do you think... So there's other articles or other agreements or other guidelines in this convention that we could... and one of them would really be around that people are safe.
Yeah.
So that means people are safe in their house, out in their community, in the jobs that they do every day, what you do every day. And it kind of says that people shouldn't be locked up, not allowed out of, out of their home or things like that. So does that happen, do you think? Will people be not allowed out?
People should, if people want to go out, they should be allowed to go out, not being indoors all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's important. But that's one of the agreements that Ireland has signed up to, is that people, shouldn't be locked away. And this is not just Ireland, but there's other countries in the world. So this is not just because Ireland has signed up to this. There are lots of other countries have signed up to this as well. So it's important that all countries that sign up to this convention are saying, people with disabilities should never be locked up. They should never be locked away or anything like that. So that doesn't happen here in Ireland, does it?
No.
No, I don't think so. Well, we hope so. We hope so, don't we, Grace?
Yeah.
Before this ever came to you,
yeah, there was lots of different things that happened in the past that weren't very nice, and some people didn't feel very safe and things like that. But we'd like to think that things have changed in our country. Yeah. But I suppose it's important that being safe is very important. Do you think? What does it mean to you to be safe, Grace?
That means being safe means everything.
Yeah. So do you feel safe when you're at home?
I do, yeah. Especially when you know the people living in the same community.
Okay, so you would feel very safe in your own home and where you live
Yeah.
in your community.
Yeah.
And would people know you quite well there?
They would, yes.
Okay, so if you were ever in an emergency at home.
Yeah, especially when you have next door neighbours, like houses next to you.
Okay, very good. So you'd know what to do then, and if there was an emergency in your house
Yeah.
and you were on your own.
Yeah.
Well, that's really good, and it's good to have. Is it good to have a community around you?
It is, yeah.
Okay. What do you think, Philip?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Would you have many people that live around you that you'd know, that your neighbour? Have you neighbours and stuff where you live?
There's one the across the road from me, and then a man whom I know, they had the door to my house.
Oh, next door. So you have a next door neighbour. So
Yeah.
you'd know. So if there was
Yeah.
ever an emergency, would you know what to do?
Yeah, I know I asked them for help, or somebody there.
You'd know there would be somebody there to help. So that's important, isn't it?
Yes.
Because I think I think we were probably a little bit better years ago at being part of our community where we lived. I know when I grew up a long time ago, well, not too long ago, I think see Philip looking up to the heavens, say just one's ancient.
No, no.
No. But a long time ago, I think there was a better sense of community in Ireland. I do. Everybody knew who their neighbours were, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
Do you know, you'd always be able to. I know we lived next door to a lady, and she lived on her own, and if there was ever snow, when they actually got proper snow, you'd go in there and make sure she was okay, and we knew all our neighbours. We probably don't know as many of our neighbours anymore, which is a pity, isn't it?
It is.
Okay, but I suppose if there was an emergency, we'd know somebody to go to, wouldn't we? One of the other articles, Grace, is the right to education.
Yeah.
Do you want to have a little chat about that? Do you think that's important, that people with disabilities have education?
Yeah, it is very important for people with disabilities to have education, especially when you grow up.
Yeah, it is. Why do you think it's important?
So they can actually learn things for themselves.
Very good, very good. And you had the opportunity to go to college as well, didn't you?
I did, yes.
Yeah, do you want to talk a little bit about that course that you did?
So it was Certificate Skills Independent Living.
Okay, and it was here in the college in Waterford.
It was.
Yeah. Oh, Philip, you've done it as well.
I did.
Yeah, that's correct. Oh, I forgot about that. So
Yeah, me and Grace were the pioneers of it.
you were the pioneers. That's exactly right. Yes, you done that. It's a good few years ago now. Can you remember what year it was?
It was 2000 something.
It was 2000 something. It was probably around 2000 and I'm going to say 15, but I don't think it was that. I think it was before that.
It was.
Maybe 2012.
14 was it?
Was it? Maybe. Look. Okay, which was in the 2000s, as you said, Grace. Yeah. You did the course, didn't you?
Yeah.
And that was run. It was a specific course for people with intellectual disabilities, and it was run in the WAT at the time, but it's now SETU, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, and
I can remember
when you were in college, then, how did that make you feel?
before I'd never been in a college until then.
So you'd never actually stepped inside a college?
No.
Before you actually got the opportunity to go to college. Okay, that's interesting. That's very. What about you, Grace?
I always had dreams of going to college, and I've been a child and really lived up to a full dream.
Yeah, so it was like a dream come true.
Yeah.
You went to college.
Yeah.
Just like your sisters.
Yes.
Because your sisters went to college, didn't they?
Yeah, my middle sister actually was the first one to go to college, and she actually got a job straight from college up to work straight away.
Very good, very good. So, so when you were in the college as students, did you feel equal in the college?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you feel, what was it about being in the college that made, because I would have known when you were in college, and I would have went out to visit you while you were in the college, and, you know, and seen you in your while you were in college. And what was it that made you feel, okay, this is good?
It was the independence that had us.
the independence that you could have.
Yeah.
And you were based in one of the Department of Nursing.
Yeah,
Yep.
That was where your classes were.
it was.
And then, but did you have to stay there for lunches? Or?
Yeah.
We did,
We did.
yeah. We used their
Canteens.
local canteens.
Yeah, so but you went up to the main building for the canteen, though, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
We
Yeah, so it
did,
wasn't
yeah.
like you had to be. You were in a classroom that you were just there. You weren't in any other part of the college. You used the gym, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
we
is
did.
another part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So education is really important, isn't it, Grace?
It is, yeah.
And Philip.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a great opportunity. But the good news is, and I've only recently heard this, but the government have actually are providing funding for colleges in Ireland to develop a course specifically for people with intellectual disabilities. Very similar. I don't think the course may not be similar to what you do, but the idea is the same. And I think, and I know the ACTU was one of those colleges who's gotten the funding. It's called Path 4 courses, so they're developing that. So this is a watch this space announcement. Okay, so that is something that hopefully will happen. I think it'll be. You would have done a level 3. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And it went from independent living to contemporary living. So
Yeah, we changed the name, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's you did, and I think these courses coming in September, or hopefully in September. We don't have a lot. Will be
I can remember the graduation.
the graduation.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that.
Would we talk about that? After the graduation, then.
Yeah.
So you are graduates of Waterford Institute of Technology.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now the Southeast
SATU.
is Technological University.
University.
They've changed the name of that since you did your course.
Yeah,
haven't you?
we were the first group to graduate.
You were the graduation was held in
The chapel in the UAT on
the chapel,
on Cook Road.
and it was to say you graduated with everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
You had your caps and your gowns.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you had your lovely finery on you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you had to go up on the stage.
Yeah.
And the papers were there.
Yeah.
And the whole lot. And it was just like every other graduation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so there might be another opportunity coming soon for maybe some other things, other people or yourselves to go back to do a course in college. But we'll have to watch this space. We'll have to find out information on that and things.
Yeah.
But under the UN Convention, Ireland has said that they believe that people with disabilities have the right to education and they have to do as much as they're doing.
Yeah.
And making sure that people have either the opportunity to go to mainstream like you did, Grace, and I know you did, Philip, or the special schools that we have throughout the country. So it's really important. That's the right to education. So, and then, like yourself, as you said, you were pioneers of this particular group who are in the Southeast who went and had the right to go to college and third level and do like everybody else and graduate.
Yep.
And have your student cards.
Yeah. I still have it at home in the house.
You still have your card at home, and do you still have your hoodie? You would have had student hoodies.
Oh,
I can re-
God, my teacher got smaller than me now.
Oh, too smaller. We've all grown, Grace.
No,
Yeah.
I had to use some more money.
You had to give them away, but you. But that's okay too. But that happens. But hopefully, in the
No, because I had too many, and I moved my house at the time, so.
Oh, you were moving house, so you had to make sure to give away some. But that's okay.
Yeah, I didn't want stuff.
Yeah, you have to. We all have to kind of when you're downsizing a bit.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I didn't want to.
Oh, you didn't want to. But have you got any left? Okay, well, we'll hopefully get you back. You can get the opportunity to go to college again, another college.
Yeah.
If you were to, if you could ever choose whatever course you want to do in college, Philip, what would that be? Is there anything in particular?
I would want to do a backstage management.
Backstage management, yeah, that's not beyond the realms. So, and about you, Grace, it's Anthony think, oh, I'd love to do that course in college.
I would definitely say drama.
Drama, for the arts.
Yeah.
You'd have a degree in drama.
Yeah.
Be lovely. You could teach then,
Yeah.
couldn't you?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be lovely?
Yeah.
Okay. So I know we've just tipped on some of the things in the UN Convention. I just make sure that we covered most of the things. You know, I think the convention really makes sure that everybody is treated equally. And I know, Grace, you had said that was one of the most important things for you.
Yeah.
That it was that you're treated equally. You believe, you know, from listening to you, you believe that you are treated equally, which is brilliant, which is great. Now, there are some people in the world who are not treated equally. So I think hopefully we'll get there. And people, you know, there's other articles that talking about people having the right to be involved in sport, which you both of you are involved in sport, making things accessible.
Yeah.
What do we understand by making things accessible?
Yeah.
That's a hard question, isn't it? I caught you on the hop there now, Grace.
Yeah.
So it really is making sure that, you know, so say if you're going into a building, that it's wheelchair accessible.
Yeah.
Or that information that you get is accessible, so that it's, you know, that you can understand it and in a way that you can understand it, and that you have access to things, so that you can be part of the gym, you can be part of the community, you can be part of going to college and going to school and having a job. So that's really what it's all about. So is there anything else you'd like to say about the convention?
Nothing really.
Would you think it's important people know about it?
It is important.
It is important, isn't it? It's important. And why would you think it's important, Grace?
So they can learn from the convention itself.
Yeah, and look at the different rights that people should have, and what people should be treated fairly, shouldn't everybody should be treated the same, shouldn't they? And as you said, being treated equal was very important.
Yes.
So I think we'll come to the end of our episode today. Thanks a million for that, Grace. We will absolutely invite you back for another one. I'm sure. We hopefully you'll come back, will you?
I definitely will come
You
back.
definitely will. Yeah. Do you know, it can be a bit scary doing the first one, can't
can.
it? Yeah, it can be a bit nerve-wracking, but you did brilliant.
First time I was the same.
Yeah, we were all nervous the first one, but yeah, thanks a million, Grace. We'll end by encouraging people to kind of find out about the convention, really, because it's important that if you get the opportunity to give feedback on it, what would you say to people?
Do.
Yeah, do. What would you say, Grace? Would you think people should get involved in giving in feedback on it?
Yeah.
Because nothing is going to change if it's your voices are not heard.
True.
Yeah.
Isn't that true?
Yep, very true.
Okay, well, we're going to finish off. Well, it's a goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.
And a goodbye from me.